Hello and welcome to a channel update. We haven't done one of these in a while. It's been about 2 or 3 months, and I feel it's a perfect time to do one because I've got some new stuff to talk about. And before we get into that, we're going to just jump right into what we're doing this week. I'm trying to make this update a little bit shorter, a little bit sweeter, a little bit more filled with content, which is of course why I'm rambling now and not talking about what I said I was going to talk about. Anyway, so we have a couple of different series on that we didn't talk about last time. But before we get to that, actually, we did hit 5,000 subscribers on the channel. Fantastic. Really happy. It was 50,000 people who watched the full test video. That's crazy. That's like numbers which I can't really comprehend. That's maybe several medium-sized football stadiums. I'm talking about, the actual football, not American football, where the stadiums are much larger. 50,000 is still almost one of those in some places, so it's a large number of people. Like, that's the only way I can conceptualize it. It's crazy. Anyway, thank you everybody who watched that. Thank you to all the new people who are watching the channel. We've had a little bit of a turnover of subs. When we were gaining a lot of subs, we're also losing a reasonable number of subs, which is weird in a way. But I guess it was just people during the summer looking for new people and then ditching old people, which is fine. Join, watch the content when you're interested in it, leave the content when you're not, come back again later. All of it's fine with me. But it's just interesting. It's like, it's almost like there is a different viewer base, or at least there's a different mix of a viewer base, so it's kind of weird. Anyway, I guess if we have a different viewer base, I should say that for channel updates, what I do is I tend to just say what's going to happen on the channel, in my view, and it gives you a chance to then tell me what you want to happen on the channel, and what kind of things you want to see, and what kind of things you think I should do differently, and all that sort of stuff. And I really encourage feedback here, and I do try and implement it. I have some ideas for implementing more feedback quicker in this video. Anyway, what is on the channel right now? We'll start at the top of the list and work our way down. So we have Crusader Kings 2 Witcher, which right now is the Skellige series. Skellige is a good series. I'm enjoying it. It's a lot of fun. We're not necessarily progressing really quickly, but it's because we have no CBs. So it's all kind of, planning ahead for the future, getting a lot of matrilineal marriages that gets us into families, which then gets us the ability to make larger moves later. And at some point in that series, it's going to explode. It's all going to work out, and that's what I'm hoping for. That's the killer moment, and I'm excited to see it happen. But yeah, I like that series. Next one we have is Elder Kings. Elder Kings is a bit of an odd series because I resurrected it from literally the dead. There was like, a year of it being dead, and basically I resurrected it because people were bugging me. They were saying like, I got to the end of the series and somebody said, you have wasted my life, a bit of my life in it. And I'm just like, really? You enjoyed the 30 episodes there was of it? Whatever. That's a totally different thing. Anyway, so I decided to continue it just so that I could stop getting messages like that, because there were a lot of people watching Elder Kings, because Elder Kings is quite high on search rankings. So it's the kind of series that people find the channel first from, and I wanted it to be kind of complete. And I'm enjoying it. We're kind of doing some weird stuff. We're doing a lot of world conquesty stuff. We're starting from a very powerful position, so I like how it's going. It is moving towards the end, however. There's not a lot of the world left to conquer, really. And once we get strong enough that we can just ignore defensive packs, which we're kind of at that point already, it's just going to be a matter of walking over and getting zealous or something and getting Inquisition wars against everything. After that, on our list, we have Factorio. Factorio is a series which people do not enjoy watching, as far as I can tell. Like, there are some people who enjoy watching it, but the majority of people do not enjoy watching it compared to other series which I have done, which means it's probably the wrong thing for the channel. It's also a series where I feel like I'm going to need to actually do time off the series to, like, work on it and plan on it if I continue it. Like, to work out how trains work and to work out all the electronic stuff that I haven't really gotten into. So it's going to be ending at the end of the month. I do have a plan for replacing it. We'll talk about that at the end. But yeah, Factorio is currently ending. It also doesn't help that I'm kind of biased against it because the game I played before that was City Skylines, and it got a lot more views. So I assume it's more popular, but it was also played during the summer, which naturally increases the views by an amount. So I want to move on so I can see what the normal amount of views is again. And I have plans for what we're going to replace it with, as I've said. But we'll talk about that in just a few games. Witcher 2 is a lot of fun. Playing it on the hardest difficulty is punishing. There are things in that game which will just be like, oh, you got hit in the back? Insta-kill. Don't worry about it. You don't need to do anything else. The game's killed you. So you have to like plan ahead. We're actually placing traps. We're building bombs. We're going down the alchemy path, which I've not done before a lot. It's like, it's the prep path. It's the, I'm going to be ready for the fight. I'm going to get everything. I'm going to go, you know, fill my banks with bombs and traps and set everything up and make it. And basically, by the time you get to the fight, you will already have won the fight because you are well prepared for the fight. That's what I'm aiming for with that. We'll see how it goes. Divinity Original Sin 2 is the next game on the list, and it is real good. Like, it's an amazing game. I am enjoying playing it a lot, and people seem to be enjoying watching it. That's something I should talk about. Like, RPG series on the channel have actually, popularity has risen a lot. And I kind of attribute that to things like Jade Empire series and the Pillars of Eternity series, which are really slow burners. So what I mean by that is kind of like, they don't start off with a ton of views, but they get views over time, and more people are coming to the channel to watch more RPG stuff, which is cool. That's what I wanted. That's why I took a segment of like stuff I could record and made it RPG stuff, because, you know, I want to play RPGs on the channel. I really like RPGs. I probably like them more than things like Crusader Kings even, which is, you know, might be crazy too. I love recording Crusader Kings. I think it's great. But I really, really like RPGs, which is also why we're playing 7 episodes of it a week, because I think that if I was to play 5 episodes and like keep them at 20 minutes, I'd be kind of itching to play just a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Also, 20 minutes of The Witcher, that's like a cutscene occasionally. It does have a little bit of that at the start, so anyway. Witcher 2, I already talked about. Anyway, Divinity. Divinity is a co-op series. Co-op series didn't used to be popular on the channel either. They didn't used to be watched. But now they are, and I quite like that. It's showing, like, I like seeing the variety of content all getting stuff up. It means that basically I can play what I would like to play on the channel. Like, just anything that I want to play. Right now it's actually quite a nice balance. I quite like everything that's on the channel. But it means that I can pretty much play any game genre I choose, and then there's going to be people watching it, people enjoying it, and that's what I'm trying to cultivate. I'm trying to avoid the thing which you get into, which could have easily happened with the channel, where it's just Crusader Kings. And in fact, it probably was for a while just Crusader Kings. It was for a while just EU4 and Crusader Kings, which is not a good combo. You can have too many maps in one week. But yeah, Divinity is awesome. We are backlogging it a lot. We did about 4 hours in the last recording session. We thought we were done we were like, oh, what's the time? How long have we played? Oh, we thought we played for like 2 hours. We played for 4 hours. And I'm like, oh, perfect. Lots recorded. So that should be fairly well backlogged. If we can get another episode done sometime this week, that would be great. Like another recording session of a couple of hours. That'll probably give us a couple weeks backlog, and then we can have steady episodes. I'm aiming for every second day. With the schedule here, I have it just set like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, but the next week it'll be like Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and that's how I'm planning on continuing that from this point on. And then I have stream written down there. Stream is a thing which might happen later in the year. I'll talk a little bit about that after I mention what I'm going to replace some of these series with. So, Factorio, I talked about it. I said I have a plan for replacing Factorio. Basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it to a vote. We had one of these a while back, and it actually worked relatively well. However, it gave us the game Skyrim, which was a little bit long for that slot, I think. I want to avoid doing like a long RPG. In fact, I want to avoid RPGs in that. I want to keep the variety of content no matter what we play. Which is why we've got this viewer game list along the left here. And this is kind of like, it's kind of me going, here's things I'm kind of interested in playing. So, Factorio is on there as well. The reason it's on there is so I can get a rough idea of how it falls in line with everything else. But yeah, those are games I wouldn't mind playing. Some of them are shorter than others. Things like Democracy 3, it would probably be like a 2-week thing. I don't think you could stretch it out much longer than that. It would be Democracy 3 Africa we'd play probably, instead of Democracy 3 itself, but I just put it short in there. The reason we play Africa is I haven't played it yet, and apparently it's a little bit more challenging, at least in certain directions. We've also got stuff like Banished, which actually came like 3rd in the last one we did. Last one we did was when I was below 1,000 subscribers, so, you know, it's going to be completely different now. But, yeah, we also have Hearts of Iron 4, Victoria 2, Stellaris. I'm not sure if I'm going to put EU4 in the actual vote. I put it down there, but it's been a while since I played EU4, and it's kind of a game that you need to know a lot of the mechanics for. I would be happy to learn them again, but it's kind of like the time investment. I haven't quite worked that out. Something like the Stellaris or Hearts of Iron I have no previous experience with, so I'm fine just going into that even though it's kind of the same thing. They're also a little bit more accessible than EU4, which I don't know if everyone agrees with that, but I think Hearts of Iron and Stellaris are super easy games compared to like EU4. I actually think Crusader Kings 2 is also a lot easier compared to EU4. EU4 is actually not even that hard, but you tend to go for like a challenge when you do it. Like there's more, there's a little bit of a higher like challenge level. Like in Crusader Kings 2, there really isn't. Like you can world conquest fairly easily. Same with Hearts of Iron. Now that I know the secret of the AI not being able to work out certain things, I'll try and avoid that if I do play that series, because I feel like with Hearts of Iron, it's kind of like you have to play with the AI. You have to be like, okay, I know if I did this, you would be stupid and just fall for it. So I'm gonna act like you don't know that, like I don't know that you can do that, and we'll kind of play it like that. Basically, what you can do in Hearts of Iron is you can do things like leave a portion of your flank, like of your battle line empty. The AI will flood through it, and then you can just close it off again. And what will happen is then you have all the AI's army behind your battle line, so they're not getting supplies. They're then very weak to fight, and you can just kill them all. That's, as I understand it, the premium go-to strategy. There are apparently others as well, but like that's one I heard about and was like, oh, that makes the game 1,000 times easier. But yeah, Prison Architect is a game that is something that I've wanted to play for a while on the channel, because it's just really good. It's just well put together. I think it could be fun. Renowned Explorers is kind of same as XCOM below it. They're in the same category. Renowned Explorers has some new expansions out for it. And it's also kind of a roguelite, so it's the kind of thing where we could play. I say roguelite, it's the wrong term for it. It's completely the wrong term for it. What I mean by that is that you can. It's got a short amount of time playing it. You can play it again and again and again. It's kind of randomized in the same patterns, and it's kind of like, you know, it's working out what strategy worked last time and just iterating upon itself. That's what I'm kind of meaning by that. So that could be fun. XCOM 2 has got an expansion which apparently expands everything in the game, makes it better, puts all the DLC that you have into the game, and apparently just integrates it perfectly. And apparently some people were saying it could be like, or for Access I think maybe even said it could be XCOM like 3 level, but they made it a DLC instead, which is awesome. So that would be cool to play. Also the kind of thing where you get some viewer interaction. Same with Darkest Dungeon below it, where people could, who want to be like characters who die hideous and horrible deaths, could, you know, tell me if they want to be in that. Darkest Dungeon, again, is a game very similar to XCOM and that kind of premise. It's also a game that I played when it was early access, really early on, and then left it, and I was like, I'll play it when it comes out. And I never did. But apparently it's pretty cool. It is a long game, but there's a shorter mode. I'm not sure if it makes it easier or not. It might, in which case we probably wouldn't play that. But it also has a new DLC, which is pretty cool. And then the one at the top of the list I didn't talk about. I also didn't talk about City Skylines Factorial because we played them. Rebuild 3 is just something that somebody suggested, and that's what I want to get into. If there is something that you want to see on the list which isn't on the list, tell me and I will put it on the list. Unless it's Total Warhammer. That's my one veto. The reason for that is, I'm going to be very plain with you here, it's £80 for the full experience, if I understand it correctly. Because you can get the second game, but to get all the races, you need to have the first game or something like that. Maybe I'm misunderstanding this. In which case, I would be happy to put it on the list, but I think that's how it works. I may need to do some more investigation. Anyway, because I know that it might win, because people have asked for it enough times. Mountain Blade is also not on the list because I played Mountain Blade and I have an opinion on it right now. It's a good enough game, but it's not for me, I think, is my Mountain Blade kind of opinion. or at least the way I'm playing it's not for me, and I would need to find a challenge that kind of sparks that interest in me. Anyway, by challenge, I don't mean like it's not hard enough. What I mean is I just don't know what I'm doing, basically. That's kind of the same with Factorio. I just don't know what I'm doing, so I'm not sure if I can make interesting I'm not sure I can spread out the content of me just kind of not knowing what I'm doing for long periods of time. I already have two series of Crusader Kings to fill out that kind of side of things. Anyway, then I also had the idea that we might do some voting for Crusader King series as well. Like, we might have one non-voted Crusader King segment and one voted Crusader King segment, and that would kind of mean that we get mods that people haven't seen in a while coming out from that. Either if people are just voting for the same mod over and over again, that's fine, that can be in that segment. But and then I can make my segment kind of varied, or if people are voting for kind of new crazy mods in that, I can play something a little bit more straightforward. Not sure if we're going to do that straight away though, because there are two things I want to play. I want to play Thedas Kings and I want to play the new DLC. I'm probably going to play the new DLC whenever it comes out. Like, I would probably stop the Elder King series if it came, like, say it came out tomorrow. What I would do is I would stop the Elder King series, or I'd put a pause on it. I'd say, okay, we're ending here for just now. We're going to play the new DLC and we'll come back and play the end of this. New DLC sounds really cool. It's got a lot of mechanics I'm interested in, and it's doing a lot of like changing of bits of the world which were a little bit rubbish beforehand. It might be cool to play somewhere in like Tibet, where you get a lot of influence from the Chinese side, like the new Chinese mechanics, but you also kind of you've got your own stuff going on. I think that could be cool. I think Tibet, do they have, this is my ignorance coming here, is Buddhism, right? In that area, at least in that time. I could be wrong there. But that's like a religion that you don't see a lot of in CK2. Is it even in CK2? I have no idea. Yeah, I see complete ignorance there and complete, like, just a blank spot in my knowledge I didn't know existed. So that'd be cool. Cool to play a bit of the world that I don't know as much about, which could be cool. And a bit of the world which isn't in Crusader Kings 2 fully right now. It gets more fleshed out. I think that could be really cool, seeing that kind of stuff. Anyway, and I said I was going to talk about stream. I have a plan for streaming. So, at the start of November, like the week starting the 6th or whatever, if you're interested, I've taken a week off of work. And what my plan is for this week is I'm going to backlog a whole bunch of, say, probably The Witcher 2, probably Divinity, and probably whatever game has replaced Factorio at that point. And the reason I'm going to do that is because if I can backlog a ton of it during that week, one, it gets me set for when I'm not going to be around for a couple of weeks, kind of end of December time, so I can get that sort of stuff sorted. But it also sets it up so that I have free evenings, free weekends where I can stream. And that seems like something I really want to do. Like, I want to get into streaming, I want to make it a habit. But to do that, I need a little bit of a backlog to start, because right now I'm like recording videos for the next day, which doesn't really work very well. I think that what I want to do is I want to be, I want to have it so that I can record, like when I record a video, it goes out like next week, so I have like a buffer. Although Crusader King's a little bit different, because I kind of want to record that week by week so I can get feedback. Like, it really depends how much feedback I want in the series. Like something like Witcher 2, I don't need any feedback on that series. I know how Witcher 2 is played. Like, I played through that in game before. Like, it's, apart from haircut advice, which I do appreciate, I can play Witcher 2 without any chat, like any comment feedback at all, right? Same with Divinity, because it's a co-op series, and my co-op partner doesn't read any of the comments anyway and just ignores the advice, because that's the way he is. So, you know, I can play that without comments. Something like Crusader Kings is something where like quite a lot of people have come to the channel for it, quite a lot of people have ideas, quite a lot of people have comments which we can actually act upon, quite a lot of people want to say like, oh, what's going on in this part of the world, and it's useful to be like, okay, I'll look at that next week. I think that's cool. That gives a little bit more interactive kind of stuff going on there. And streaming stuff, I'm still not sure what I'd play in it, which is why I want to do like some viewer game votes, because that gives me a better idea of what people want to see. Last kind of thing I want to talk about is the Telltale games that I played on the channel before. like the Walking Dead series, which just kind of got left. The reason the Walking Dead series got left is because the next episodes of it, like episode 3 and 4, I think, were the ones. Wait, we might have played episode 3, so it might be episodes 4 and 5. Basically, those came out as I was moving house and I was changing job, so they just got abandoned. I'd probably try and catch up with them starting November as well. I'm putting a lot into this week, so it's a bit interesting. I'm trying to think of, it's basically, I realized to improve the channel, I need more time, like to get some more backlogs, and like you need to invest time or money, and I've chosen to invest time in the channel, kind of at the start then, so well, hopefully it'll look real good over kind of the winter period, which is what I'm kind of going for. But yeah, so Telltale Games probably going to come back there. Probably play the next Batman game as well, because we played through all of that previously. Life is Strange is one that I've played through in my own time, and there's like new stuff for that. I'm not sure. It's a little bit different than the rest of the stuff that we played. I'm not sure. It might be good. It's maybe a little bit too... I don't know. We'll think about it. It's a game I enjoyed playing on my own. I'm not sure if it gets the same stuff from recording it. We'll think about that one. Tell me what you think about that game, because if you're interested in it, might do some of that. Then what else do I want to talk about? Well, I guess I just want to kind of... It's been a very long update for what I said I wanted to be short and sweet. Yeah, Discord still exists. I'm doing a what's on the channel this week kind of thing each week on it. I just quickly say what's on the channel, give you kind of a rough overview, so if you want to kind of get the information this video gives you, but in a much shorter time frame, that's a good place to be. I also kind of answer things, I occasionally hang out there. Like, if somebody's there and someone's talking, I'll generally kind of jump in. So, you know, that's cool. So if you want to kind of talk to me there, that's something. It's also a good place if you want to send me messages, because I'm almost guaranteed to get it and be able to see it clearly. So if like you've got a message which isn't really related to any video, that's an okay place. Twitter is another place. Twitter is kind of just the place where I talk about random other things that aren't really the channel a lot of the time. Occasionally I talk about the channel, but like right now I've just used it basically to talk about the TV series I'm seeing. If that interests you, that's something perhaps. What else have we got? Oh yes, YouTube had this thing. I forget what it's called. Is it like Super Chat? I have no idea. Like, YouTube have what is Twitch's subscription service, and it now exists. I enabled it on the channel. So, if you're interested, it exists. If you're not interested, then, you know, whatever. Doesn't really matter to me either way. Yeah, I think that's about everything I want to talk about. Yeah, it's been a long enough video, hasn't it? 23 minutes. Wow. Okay, anyway. Thank you for watching. Hopefully I'll see you in one of these series. And remember, tell me what kind of viewer games you're interested in, what kind of CK2 mod things you're interested in. That way I can get them on the lists for if we do votes for them. We're going to do a vote for the viewer game this weekend. So I'm going to put up the vote then, and then probably the next week or like the week after we'll start whatever game appears. Depends what it is. If it's something like Democracy, we can start it the next week. If it's something like EU4, might need to wait a little bit on that for me to learn how to play it again. Yeah, hopefully I'll see you in one of the series that is on, and thank you for watching. See you next time. Goodbye.